تذكر يوما كنت تعانق دمعة الفكر تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحوم كالطير تحلق في ثقافات وتنهل من ربى الخير.
في الدين كل ذوق علي شعر فوق بالفعل والمنطوق تلقى له صفات كثير هدي النبي جذاب ذوق وخلق واداب وبهديه الأصحاب خلوا للحياة تعبير في البيت أو في السوق أو ماشي أو بتسوق مسلم وكلك ذوق بالأخلاق لك تأثير في البيت.
He took his son-in-law to the side and he said, I'm going to set you free and I need you to give this necklace back to my daughter. He said, but would you do something for me? Right, this will answer your question, inshallah. He said, I need something from you. He said, Allah has commanded that it's not fitting for the believing woman to be with a disbelieving man. Can you send my daughter to me? So his son-in-law agreed and he said, yeah, I'll send her to you. So he went, he sent word ahead of him, and she met him outside of Mecca. And he met her and he said, this is where we part. And she said, where are you going? He said, I'm not the one who's leaving, you are. Your father has sent for you, you have to go back to your father. And she started crying, she didn't want to leave. Right? This is her husband, this is her family, she didn't want to leave. And he said to her, her husband said that Allah has revealed to your father that the believing woman is not fit for the disbelieving man, and so you have to go. She said, won't you believe? Won't you believe? We could stay together if just you believe. He said no. And this now he has another reason for not believing. Now his reason for not believing is that if he says, yeah, I believe, now it's because he wants to stay with his wife. He doesn't want to lose his wife. Right? And so again, he's put in this position where maybe he does believe. Maybe what he saw at Badr, maybe what he experienced from the kindness of the Prophet ﷺ was enough to change his heart. But if he was to believe right now, it would be seen as he entered Islam only to stay with his wife. Right? So he said no. He said, I won't believe now. Right? So he again rejected it. Sorry, I have to see where I'm at in my notes, inshallah. So, alhamdulillah, she took her son and her daughter with her. Her son and her daughter with her to Medina, and she was separated from her husband for 6 years. In those 6 years, many people came to ask her hand in marriage, to ask the Prophet ﷺ about his daughter, and she refused every suitor. Right? No matter who it was, she said no. So she remained single for 6 years. She's not divorced. Let me rephrase that. She's not married. Because sometimes when you hear this story, it's told to you like they're in a state of suspension, like the marriage is on hold, right? But the marriage is not on hold. The marriage is nullified. It's null and void, because it's not fitting for a believing woman to be married to a disbelieving man, and so the marriage itself was nullified. Yes, Abul As, he was in the 8th year of the Hijrah. He was on a part of a caravan that went to Syria, and on the way back, the Muslims raided the caravan. Right, they got the caravan, and so what he did is he ran. And he snuck into Medina. They were close enough to Medina to where he could run. The Muslims took all the people captive, those that lived. They took all of the goods from that caravan. Now, what they did is that, what he did is he went around, he's an Arab, he's Quraysh, nobody knows he's a disbeliever, he just fits in, he's just talking. And so he's like, where does so-and-so live? Where does so-and-so live? And so he finds out where Zainab radiallahu anha lives, and he goes and he knocks on a door, and he says, can I visit my kids? Right? Can I visit my kids? So now you have the baby daddy coming and visiting the kids. This is his in, right? And so we expect her to say no, because they shouldn't be alone together. But instead what happens is that she said, yeah, she misses him. She loves him, right? There's love here. But just because she loves him doesn't mean that she's going to disobey Allah. And so there was boundaries kept. He was able to be in the house that night. She said, did you become a Muslim? Sorry, I forgot this part. So when he comes in, she said, did you become a Muslim? You're here in Medina. You came to my house. You're a believer? Allahu Akbar. He said, no, I'm a fugitive. Right? So, mashallah. So he tells her the story, and she says to him, you can spend the night but sleep with the children. Meaning, you're over there and I'm over here. That morning she gets up and she goes and prays Fajr at the masjid, Salatul Subh. And this isn't something that women did usually during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They pray Fajr, and then there's a voice from the back of the masjid, right? And she says, I free Abul As. I free him, right? I don't like this term, I free him. It means I give security to him, right? What this means is that if somebody comes into this area and they say, I need help, right? There's some guys who are trying to jump me, something like that. And we say, no problem, we got your back, right? Nobody's going to get you in here. And no matter who comes through that door, even if it's other Muslims, right? We say, no, we gave them a pledge that we would secure them, right? Now it's our duty to uphold that pledge. If Islam said, I pledge I'll defend you, right? Somebody or something like that, you say, I got your security. I'm giving you my word that you're safe here, right? Then it's actually on all of us to make sure that he can keep his word. Even though he's the only one that pledged to secure him, because all of us are here, we now have to make sure that he's safe, right? It's a pledge of security. And this is what would happen if a stranger came into a town. They would find someone to give them that security, so that the other tribe, because you're not from this tribe. What are you doing? This ain't your hood. What are you doing here, right? You ain't from here. Who do you know, right? This is how we act today, right? You're not from here. Who do you know? Why are you here? Right? Who said you could come up in here? I'm sorry, because I come from some place where we treated people like that, right? So if you didn't know somebody, if you wasn't there with somebody, you made a big mistake coming up in here, right? That's how society was during tribal times. And so you would need to know somebody or have somebody that had your back, or gave you that amana, gave you that trust, that security, that pledge of safety. So there's this voice in the back that says, I've given that security to Abul As ibn Rabi'ah. So everybody looks, and it's a sister. The Prophet ﷺ knows who it is. He knows his daughter's voice. And so he says, I too give him this word of trust, right? And then he goes and talks to her, and he finds out what happened, and he goes back, and what does he do? This is after Fajr, so everybody is there. He says, I want to ask permission, right? He's asking permission again from the community. He said, is it okay if we let him go, right? Is it okay if we let him go? And again, they know the Prophet ﷺ, they know his love for his daughter, so he said, he's never been anything but a good son-in-law. And can we let him go? They agree. He said, can we also give him his property back? Because that's part of the spoils, right? And so the people, alhamdulillah, they agreed to give him his property back by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. And so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to his daughter, he said, be generous to him. Meaning, when you go back to your house, be kind to him, host him well, but don't go to him as a wife. Meaning, no matter how kind you are, look, we're freeing him, we're giving him protection, he can leave, we're going to give him his property back, we're going to do all of that. And you can go back to your home and let him know this, and be a kind host to him, but don't act like a wife to him. Meaning, don't touch him physically. The bond is not there. Even if you have children together, even if you love each other, even if we seem to like him and it's okay right now, that doesn't give you the right to be intimate with somebody, inshallah. So the Prophet ﷺ said this, and what's more is he said to, and he told her why. He said because he is still a disbeliever, and it's not fitting for a believing woman to be with a disbelieving man. And so she confirmed that, she affirmed that, she agreed on that, and she went back to her house and she told him this. He gathered his property, because he's not welcome to stay. Let's not mix it up and think, okay, he's good. No. He visited his kids, he's got his stuff, now it's time to roll. Alright. So he packed up his stuff, he went back to Mecca, he took all the goods, and he gave it to all the people he owed. Right? All the people who had sent him on the caravan, he paid back all of that. Then he asked the people, he said, is there anybody that I owe here? Anybody? Do I owe anybody? And everybody said, no, your debts are clear. Once his debts were clear, he said, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and he went back to Yathrib. Right? So he accepted Islam in Mecca without any of the Muslims really knowing. Right? He went back to Mecca, he went straight to his father-in-law, and he said, I am a Muslim. Right? He didn't repeat the Shahada, he just, I'm a Muslim. I dakhaltu Islam, I entered Islam. And at that point he asked, he said, can I marry your daughter? And so the Prophet ﷺ remarried him to Zainab after 6 years of being separated. And so finally she was reunited with her husband, alhamdulillah. And the Prophet ﷺ, when I say this, I'm saying it like the Prophet gave her back, no, it wasn't like that, because what actually happened is what happened the first time Abul went to the Prophet ﷺ and asked to marry his daughter? What happened the very first time he did that?
He asked him.
Huh? Naam, he said, I gotta go ask my daughter. So what do you think the Prophet ﷺ did this time? He said, I have to ask her. So the Prophet ﷺ took him to her house. They went together, and he asked his daughter, do you want to marry him? And alhamdulillah, obviously she affirmed that she did, and they were married there on that very day.
Was it also a smile this time?
Huh?
Was it also just a smile this time?
A smile?
Like last time, she just smiled.
Oh no, it wasn't just a smile this time. I'd imagine that it was a whole lot more than a smile this time. Alhamdulillah, but we're not told. But we can only imagine, mashallah.
كلك ذوق بالأخلاق لك تأثير